Welcome back to Network Africa. Now we're looking at developments in Burundi. The president there, that's Pierre Nkurunziza, insists on running for a third term, but the United States does not think that it's a wise move as it could have dire consequences. In a meeting which took place today, a senior U.S. diplomat told the president that his country risks boiling over if it stifles political opposition as protests against the president entered a fifth day. About 100 protesters were in a standoff with police on the outskirts of the capital, Bujumbura, using smoldering tires, sticks and stones to barricade a road. Protesters say that the president's decision to stand in the presidential election in June violates the constitution and jeopardizes a peace deal that has kept ethnic tensions in check since a civil war ended in 2005. The presidency says the protests are an insurrection. Unconfirmed reports suggest that during the meeting, President Nkurunziza responded by saying that the protest against him was simply illegal and that the opposition would not be restricted. The Constitution and Arusha Peace Accords limit the president to 2 terms in office, but the president's supporters say he can run again because his first term, when he was picked by lawmakers and not elected, does not count. While Togo's main opposition challenger has rejected the results of the country's presidential election after incumbent Gnassingbe was declared the winner, reviving fears of a post-election violence. Jean-Pierre Fabre said results announced by the Election Commission late on Tuesday were fraudulent and did not match those from polling stations compiled by his party. Togo's Election Commission had announced the provisional results showed that President Gnassingbe won the vote with more than 12 million votes, or 58.75% of the total. The April 25th vote was largely peaceful, but tensions have risen as results trickled in. Hundreds of people died in unrest after the election in 2005. The West African regional leaders, led by Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama, flew to Lomé on Tuesday to meet with President Gnassingbe and members of Fabre's camp, and that's concerning the 2015 coalition, but failed to overcome opposition reservations about the poll. The campaign manager of the opposition said the opposition would announce its own results, and it also called its supporters to the streets to protest against what it called a coup. It's important to note that President Gnassingbe has been in power, or he's been president since the year 2005, when his father died after 38 years in charge of the former French colony. He won re-election in another disputed poll back in 2010. Now, for more on this situation, we are being joined by Skype, or via Skype, by Chief Dele Momodu from Accra. Mr. Momodu, thank you very much for speaking with us on the program.
Yeah, thank you for calling me. Good afternoon.
We're glad to have you. Now, what do you make of cases like this when it seems as though democracy becomes monarchy? Like what we're seeing in Togo, it looks like it's more or less like a family business at the moment.
Yes, so it seems, if we remember that Mr. Gnassingbe's father had ruled Togo for about 38 years before he died at the age of 69. The son took over, and as a matter of fact, his brother, Pacha, was the Minister of Defense at the time, but they fell out in what was regarded as an attempted coup, and he was imprisoned by his own brother. So now this is supposed to be the 3rd attempt by Gnassingbe to retain power, just like his father did many years ago before he died in 2005. So it's more like a monarchy, it's a family affair, and I can tell you that unless something drastic happens, it's going to continue like this for some time to come. The same scenario is playing out in Zimbabwe, where Robert Mugabe has continued to contest election, and no one has been able to defeat him. Mobutu Sese Seko did the same thing in the old Congo, and until he died, it was the same old story. We had a similar situation in Cote d'Ivoire, where Ofodboye was also the strong man, and he was there eternally. So I don't know what the African Union in particular will be able to do. I believe that the advent of social media, of course, is beginning to cause some upheaval in a lot of African countries, but I'm not sure that the people, due to a preponderance